Today we're going to be talking about the 3 new characters that we got to see in the CBT2 trailer, as well as the dev talk interview for Wuthering Waves. First character I want to talk about is the brand new character. We've never seen her before, but Jian Xin, hopefully I'm saying her name correctly. She looks phenomenal, okay? I like her absolute design. I think it looks phenomenal. I think the black and white, which is a staple for Kiro games, even in Wuthering Waves, you can tell that a lot of people are wearing black and white with a nice accent color, but I think it looks so good on her because she's yin and yang. It makes sense. She has a move that is yin and yang. She has earrings that's yin and yang. Her hair is like that. I think it's so phenomenal. And this is something that I really like to see because Dong himself actually said that she was going to be a balance of, you know, kind of defensive and offensive, and she's going to be kind of counter heavy, meaning that she's going to be countering a lot of attacks, and she's a brawler, so she's just an interesting character and instantly went up to like the top charts for me because of her design and the way she's going to be playing based on what we've seen in the dev interview, kind of like little snippet of gameplay that we got, a little extra stuff. And the fact that she and one other person are brawlers in kind of a more unique scenario, because a lot of people like to use weapons and guns and stuff like that, it's always nice to just go up there and just beat the hell out of people and kind of give them a little punch with their fisticuffs. And I think she's going to be a great addition. Sounds very technical. And the fact that this is a character, and I don't mean this in a negative way towards Kiro, but they've had a lot of critiques and kind of like feedback based on a lot of the character designs, and they've all been knocked out of the park. The redesigns and kind of the touch-ups on all these characters are definitely needed and definitely look phenomenal, but this is a first character that we've been able to see without the kind of critiques and the feedback from the community. And I think that they finally kind of got the stylization that everybody was kind of hoping for, and I think they're knocking it out of the park. So if, like, you know, future characters start to kind of get this design or like kind of like this idealization or like stylization and stuff like that, I think Kiro's in a very good spot. They obviously know how to do it. Like BGR has stunning characters, of course, but Wuthering Waves are kind of trying to find the footing of exactly what they wanted the characters to look like. And I think by showing Jian Xin, she definitely just gave us a good confirmation that the future Kiro games on Wuthering Waves is going to be knocking it out of the park for these characters, at least in my opinion. I think she looks great. And the fact that she has an idle animation where she takes the big part of her hair and blows into it and whistles. I don't know if you guys ever did that as kids, but you could pretty much like take a big old piece of like, you know, grass or something like that, and you could blow into it and whistle. And I always thought it was cool because when I saw it, I was like, oh, I used to do that when I was a kid. So it's funny that she does that with her hair and an idle animation, which just kind of gives that, you know, extra personality. Absolutely love that they're doing the idle animations and kind of showing more of that. Next character is going to be a little bit of a love and hate depending on who you ask about the redesign, because this was originally a character in CBT1 and he was an NPC, so he was more tiger at that point than human, and I think his name was Au, but he was like, you know, full on like kind of tiger, had the fur and everything, but he had like kind of human features. Now it seems like they redesigned him to be a 180 where he's more human-esque. You know, obviously he has like skin, and but he has like the hair, he has like the little ears, and then his hair's in a ponytail, which gives that like kind of impression of being like long and wilderness and have like kind of tiger-ness kind of feel to him. So he definitely feels like it because the way he attacks is very open palm. He has like that cool, you know, I think it's called a dragon mask that they use like culturally and stuff, and he's like beating the hell out of people, and he looks a lot of fun because he seems more aerial than a lot of the units that we've been able to see thus far, and I think that's a lot of fun. The fact that he actually runs on drums and you can hear the drums when he's running was such a cool addition. I was like, damn, that's so cool. I had to rewind that when I was watching the dev talk. I was like, what? That's crazy that he does that. So yeah, it's kind of an interesting thing. I think they're knocking it out of the park. He's very expressive, which he's something that I actually kept from the CBT1, where he was like very expressive, very like cheery, very like ready to go, and you can kind of tell that at least from the snippet that we've seen of him, and like kind of like the little like cutscenes that he had where he's very expressive, very happy, very like easygoing, and he has that kind of capture-esque to him, a little bit more enhanced I would say from these trailers. But I don't mind the redesign. That's just personally because like I did actually like the kind of more tiger design, mainly because I felt like it was more of a question thing, like, oh, what the hell's going on with him, like how did he get to that point when everybody's mostly human? So now it's kind of like makes sense, and maybe it'll kind of explain, you know, why he's more like wilderness or more like kind of jungly or something like that, instead of, you know, why he's like a little tiger. Maybe they just thought it'd be easier to kind of explain it story wise, but love or hate it, I think he definitely looks pretty cool. Last but certainly not least, on the topic of NPCs becoming playable units, our boy Kakarot, Sephiroth, my boy. He looks dead, but he looks badass. So if you like anybody who's like has a kind of Sephiroth appearance to him, very like, you know, technical and very like intentional on what he's doing, long, you know, silver hair, this is the guy for you. Now the reason that I actually think he looks really cool is because of his JoJo stand. Like that stand instantly gave me a bunch of questions, like are they different entities, like are they different like beings that are working together, or are they kind of like an extension of himself? Because it kind of seems like based on the reaction or interaction between each other that they actually are like separate beings that are kind of like, you know, working together, and that gives you kind of the question of like, okay, why are they together and what is going on with that? So you kind of want to dig into that, and I like the fact that he's so intentional in the moves. I'm kind of a sucker for that, you know, growing up with, you know, Final Fantasy 7 and Advent Children, Sephiroth just being like you know, with this giant long ass sword and just demolishing stuff and being so like intentional on every move that he made is such a cool thing. And they really captured that with our boy Kakarot. Plus, you know, Kakaroto is something I really love because I like Dragon Ball Z as well. So Kakarot instantly stuck out to me as like, oh, that's a very unique name. I think he's a cool character. And honestly, at this point, I think I'm losing a lot of money. I'm going to be bankrupt when this game comes out. Let me know in the comments if that's going to be you as well.